All right, looks good. Let me open my chat back up so I can see if anybody pops any questions in there.
I can watch that for you if you want.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Well, thank you for letting me join with you today. Just as I get started, a quick kind of survey. Does the team know the general idea of Emedia? Some do, some do not. How many of you have even heard of Emedia at all before? I see a hand raised. Feel free to unmute for a second and let me know, or type in the chat. It's new. Okay. So we've got some people indicating, yeah, I know what it is. Some people saying it's new to me a little bit. Okay. All right, good. That'll help me kind of know the direction to go here. So I'll start with a little bit of an introduction. But as Pam said, I'm Katie Blunt. This is my email address if you ever need to reach out to me. I am the product manager over Emedia, and I work with Katie Garrett at UEN to maintain the Emedia site. And I'm going to kind of jump through the intro to UEN slides here. But and go straight to Emedia. So this is the URL to Emedia, emedia.uen.org. And it'll take you to this site here. So the big question is, okay, for those of you who are new, what exactly is Emedia? Emedia is an online database of educational resources. So all of the resources that are in this database are available for free to Utah educators. So when we say resources, the next question I think is, well, what do you mean by resources? So we include several different kinds of resources, but this slide gives you just an idea of some of the things that might be included. Some of our resources are open educational resources. This can be anything from, as you see, videos to lesson plans to textbooks to activities, professional development videos and trainings, a whole variety. So anything that would be helpful to an educator for professional learning or for teaching in their own classrooms can be housed in this database. So open educational resources, as you can see here, is kind of the main content in Emedia. Things that people have created and basically said, yeah, I just want to share this with everybody. So they've put a Creative Commons license on it or something like that. But in addition to that, we do have some licensed content that UEN has paid for. For example, we have a series of videos that we pay for each year and license that are added to the library. But those are still free to Utah educators. We also have created content. So I'll show you when we look more deeply at the site that any Utah educator can contribute to this database as well, can add in lesson plans that they've created or resources to share. Okay. All right. So because I've mentioned a couple of things then that indicate that there has to be some verification of who is a Utah educator, because the licensed resources that we have are only available to Utah educators. We don't make them free for everyone on the web. And in order to create resources, you also have to be identified as a Utah educator. So when educators go to the Emedia website, right here where you see my little user icon, if you're not logged in, you will see a button there that says to log in. And so the big question there is, what login is this? So this login is the same username and password that educators use to log into my.uen. So some of you may recall what my.uen is if you've been around for a little while, and if it's been not so long, you may be like, I don't know what that is. But if you visit my.uen.org, you'll see this site here. And this is where A lot of educators go to access their Cactus ID and different information. That's the easiest way for me to get to it. And if you've been around for a while, you may remember that we used to have educator web pages that we could build here. So this is the same account. If you have used this before, the same username and password you use here can be used to log into Emedia. And there's a button here that you can use if you've forgotten what that login is. If you or an educator that you are helping have never logged into My UAN before, there's a button here that allows them to create an account. And whether it's you or an educator that you are helping, if it's been a while since you've logged into your My UAN account, it's a good idea to check the email that is being used for this account. I remember when I first created my account, it was just with a personal email address. Now our system will check the email address to verify whether you are really an Utah educator. And so it's good. You need to update it if it's your personal email so that it's utilizing your educator email instead. And so as you help educators log in, that's one good thing to kind of go and check on and see if their email is up to date here. I will mention this now so I don't forget that if anybody has any trouble logging in to Emedia, or if you have trouble when you're helping another teacher, there is a support button on the right-hand side of every page in Emedia. And when you click on that, you can send a message to Katie Garrett and me. Katie Garrett's usually the one who gets it first, and just say, hey, I need a little help with anything really, but specifically with logging in. Just say, this is my email address. I'm not sure why I'm not getting in, and we can help you out. When you do when teachers create that account, they will get a verification email. So that's another thing to check to make sure that they've gotten that email and verified that they're a real person. Okay, so let's dive more deeply into, again, what Emedia can do for you and your educators. So the basic way to get started in figuring out what exists in Emedia is just to explore what already exists there. And there are basically a few ways that you can do this. One is just through a keyword search. So if I go back to Emedia here, you can see that on the home page, right here in the middle, or on any page up here in the upper right-hand corner, you can conduct a keyword search for things that you're looking for. So this is our secondary ed tech team, right? So we could type in, for example, educational technology and see what comes up. When I'm teaching educators how to use this, I like to start with a real basic keyword search because it gets us to a lot of results and it can kind of help you just get a feel for what's going to pop up. So when you conduct a search, you can see that it gives you this whole list, a little previews of different resources that you can access. I want to point out on this page that 1,750 results can be a little overwhelming. And if an educator were to type in something even more general, like social studies or something, they're going to get thousands of results. So for one thing, they'll get a little better at what keywords will work as they continue to search. But also on the left-hand side of any list, any collection of resources, there are these filters. And these are what allow educators to kind of file down into what they're really looking for. So let's say that we want to go into education level here and we're really interested in high school. Okay, so that has narrowed down our search a little bit there. We've got a few less resources. Maybe I'll go down here to media format. And I'm specifically looking for videos that I could show the teachers I'm training or send them, to help them with a resource. So now I'm down to, 1164 here in my results, and I'm looking at just videos. So once you find something that you think, well, maybe I've found what I'm looking for, I'm going to click on this resource. You can click on the title and you'll come to a page that gives you just an overview of what the resource is. There's a little description. What's the subject and the grade level, who created it, different things like that. Sometimes there are endorsements or it's aligned to standards, lots of keyword tags here. And when I feel like, yeah, okay, let me check out this video, let me see if this is what I, would be beneficial. You can click on view resource, and depending on what your resource is here, you'll see a slightly different view of the resource. In this case, it's a video, and actually I've been having, we updated our site and it's having just a little bit of a challenge accessing a few of our videos. So it's not coming up right now, but I'll let Katie know and it should be fixed soon. So anyway, but it might be a PDF that the teacher could download. It might be a video that they can play. It might be a link out to another website. Just depends on the type of resource. Okay, so that's the basic way. But what's really cool, and that I want to be sure to show you before we, stop the real brief overview, is that, doing a keyword search like that, you can see that it requires some time and some effort to really dig in and figure out what's there. Sometimes you and your educators just want to get to things a lot more quickly than that. So a great way to do that is through the Hubs tab at the top of the page here. When I click on Hubs and I click on See All Hubs, you can see that there are a variety of kind of initiatives and subject areas where basically we have collected resources for you. We've done some of that work of searching and figuring out what's the best of the best, because there's a lot of resources in here. All of the top row that you see here are kind of the UEN hubs that have to do with the resources that we support. And then starting on the second line here, this is a super exciting project that we've been working on with the Utah State Board of Education. We've teamed up with their specialists to curate their favorite resources in various subject areas. So early learning, health education, library media, mathematics, et cetera, all the way through the U.S. Constitution, which is slightly different. That's not just USBE, but it's with them and some others. And we're going to continue to add to these different subject area collection or hubs. We've got world languages in the works, English language arts, social studies. So these will continue to build. So the way these hubs start is that we worked with the specialists to gather, like, what are the top resources that they always are sending out to people that are helpful to these teachers in their classrooms. And then the second step is to gather and curate as many resources as we can from all different areas and to have educators evaluate them and help the top resources rise. So far we've done that second step on the mathematics hub and on the SEED hub, the science hub there. And so I'll click on math as a great example of what these hubs look like. So hubs are like little mini web pages surrounding this topic. So mathematics in this case. You'll see there's a little introduction to the hub and then recommended collections. So for example, instead of a 7th grade math teacher just typing math into the keyword search, he or she can come and click on this already curated collection of 7th grade math resources. And not only are they math resources, but as it says, these are highly recommended by math educators and by USBE. They still have all the filters to kind of filter down what they're looking for. And as much as possible, we've aligned these resources to standards. So they could even go search for a specific standard there. So in addition to these curated collections by grade level, you can see in math, we've also organized them by provider. So if they have a particular provider that they like, they can dive into those resources. And then we've also provided them with groups where if you're logged in as a Utah educator, you can collaborate and hold discussions with other people. So, if I'm a middle school math teacher, I can come in here and I can join the group and share my favorite resources with everyone. And I can start a discussion, maybe surrounding a specific curriculum concept that I'm hoping for some advice to teach. So those are part of the hub as well. And then at the bottom of the hub, you can see there's a little video if anybody needs help exploring the hub, and some links out to professional learning. So it's sort of this little center for free digital resources that are pre-curated, evaluated, given a thumbs up and said, these ones are great, take a look, in addition to what's in the main library. So you can see there are additional hubs aligned with other tools and initiatives there. And I told you I'd show you that in addition to exploring what's already there, there is a create button when educators are ready to take that next step into creating and contributing their own resources. So that's the real quick overview of what is there and information about the hubs. I'm going to skip through some of these slides here and get to here. I'm going to leave this screen up for a minute while I see what questions you have and what we want to explore a little further. But you and your educators can find tutorials and resources to help you use Emedia in our Getting Started with Emedia Hub right there in Emedia. It's this one right here. And then there's also an Emedia product page. I make monthly videos to help educators learn more about Emedia, and I highlight featured collections and hubs and different things on that page. Okay, there's your super speed look at Emedia and Emedia hubs. What questions do you have before we let you move on to your other items?
So, Katie, this is Myra Miller. I have a question. I'm just wondering, so I'm sorry. I teach CCA. I'm college and career awareness, 7th grade. Is this, I didn't see anything in there specific to my content, but I imagine I could put stuff together. Is there a way that you could take what you call a hub? If I go into create, can I create a hub by using resources from the different hubs that are already there and create my own little CCA hub?
Good question. So no, but you could create a group. So first I'll say that all of the CTE standards we are that close to getting them added into Emedia. There are a lot and they were recently updated. So we're working on getting those in there. I also have on my calendar in June to reach out to the CTE specialists and chat with them about creating a hub with collections for all of the different areas in CTE. So, but to clarify, collections, which you saw in the Math Hub, a collection is, for example, one of these where we've curated and gathered specific content for a specific, group of people. Collections can only be created by UEN employees, so Katie Garrett and me. And then obviously collections can be part of a hub. Hubs can only be created by Katie Garrett and me and people that we collaborate with. So if you do have a big enough initiative, like we've been working with the USBE people, we can work with you to create a hub. But anybody can create the groups that I showed you in the hub. So that would be my top suggestion for what you're talking about. And if you click on groups and go to see all groups, first of all, you can search to find out, try several different keywords to find out if a group already exists related to your curriculum. I know CTE is more general than what you were talking about, but there's this one for broadcast and digital media. So you could try some of your keywords and see if there's already a group to join. If not, as long as you're logged in, you can create a group for your specific area. And within that group that you create, you can either leave it wide open for anybody to join, or you can invite specific people to join. And then when you've got a resource that you like, you simply save it and share it into the group, and voila, you've got your own collection. So let me show you, for example, the C Forum group, which is the group that meets with ed techs around the state, because this one has lots of resources. So this isn't a hub. We don't have a C Forum hub, but what we have done is curated a whole bunch of resources from C Forum presentations and other things that ed techs around the state would be interested in. And so in a way, this group becomes your own little hub, your own little collection. Okay.
Yeah.
And actually several collections, because all of the folders over here are different collections that we've created to share resources with each other. Does
So
that help?
That does help.
to summarize, a hub is curated, right? Where a group isn't necessarily curated.
Yeah. So it's, you know, you kind of, a collection is one small curated group of resources. A hub can contain many collections and groups and other information and links.
Okay.
And yeah, a hub is, you know, kind of a
collection. A collection is curated and a group is not. And then also, if somebody isn't finding their content area, would it be best for them to contact you first to kind of see the timeline? If maybe that's being created or worked on.
Sure. But again, if the idea is you just want to start collecting things that you have found in the database to help the teachers you support, then a group is a great way to go. So I would see if a group exists first. And if you can't find one there, create your own. But yes, if you're wondering about your content area for hubs, which again have lots of groups and lots of collections, then you can definitely reach out to me and say, what's the timeline for this content area? So yeah.
Well, Katie, thank you so much. And thank you for giving us those extra resources. And we'll be following up with this at our schools, but appreciate you hopping in to helping us today.
Sure. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Eric.
Love to. She just needs to give me back to screen.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so I don't have a whole lot of time. I was grateful for the people that came in and shared with me some of their pain points. I would love for you, the rest of you who did some different pieces, to also contribute to share with some of the pain points. I wanted to share a couple different things from the pain points that I saw. The biggest, most common one in Infinite Campus was the ability to search the search field by first name. What's happening is Infinite Campus is combining two different pieces. Census is a separate set from student information. And as they work to try and allow you to search in both places, they've had to limit certain things. So they are still working on bringing it back. What I want you to do is to provide feedback using the feedback button, either here or there's a feedback button here. Use the feedback button in order to say, we want to have first names as being that, and that will help move that along. In the meantime, all it takes is one additional click to search by first name, and that is you click advanced, and then I can type in the first name of someone and hit enter, and it will look to see if it's going to search. I'm in a sandbox. Sandbox sometimes doesn't work real well. So I will just do what I was doing before, and it was working for me before. It was giving me a list of students, and so it should work for you. Again, this is a sandbox mode. Sometimes it gives weird things when it's in sandbox mode.
Where was that? Sorry, just one more time. So I'm in search.
So you're in search down at the very bottom.
Advanced.
There's a button called advanced. The minute you hit advanced, you can go to first name, you can go to grade, you can do any of the different things here.
Okay, it does give us a warning that it's not a valid query.
That's just, I'm sorry, that's probably an error in searching.
Mine worked when I tried it.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's just a glitch that comes up from time to time.
Okay.
It's annoying, but again, provide feedback, give that back to them so that we can come back and say, we still want to be able to search by first name, because that's important. As several people point out, you can do comma, space, and then type in the first name, but for people who'd rather use a button, the advanced search is there. Plus you can use the advanced search for a few other things. That's a workaround at the moment. Continue to provide feedback so that we can bring back the search field by first name. I believe it will come back shortly. Let's see. Next one that I wanted to show. People are saying, is there an easier way to do assignments, especially fill down? One of the things that I want to remind is this particular feature. I created this particular assignment. You can fill down, like, for example, said, how do I mark turned in for everybody? Well, if you click the T up in this yellow section, it will fill that down and mark them as all turned in. Same thing as missing. However, with missing, I recommend instead using fill scores. And then you can click that you're in the quarter grade. I want to mark missing students that are empty, which means they don't have a score in it. Or present and empty means they were there that day, but don't have a score. And then you can say, yeah, it's missing for these particular people. When you click fill, it marks it missing automatically. And if you don't want the flag on it, you can remove the flag like this, and it will still have the missing. It doesn't mean anything, but it will still have the missing piece in place. So those are some fill tricks that you can use. Up here at the top, anything that has a piece up here at the top will fill down as you work your way through. You can also fill comments as needed in the same way. So those are a couple of different reminders of a few different things that we have. I had one person indicated that they wanted to print a roster with multiple sections. I wanted to show that briefly. This is in the roster report. So you can go to instruction and choose the roster report. When it comes up, you can add in as many sections as you need to. So you add in the various different sections. It's giving me this because I'm logged into two different places at the same time. But you can add in multiple sections so that you can generate the report. And if you click here, you can generate it as a CSV, which allows you to export it into Excel, which will allow you to go even deeper and to do some sorting if you need to. So it is very possible in order to do roster reports. One of the last ones that I wanted to do to show you very quickly that came up as pain points was the ability to get lists of emails. That's already in place for us. If you go to instruction, one of your pieces is custom links and reports. And that gives you student email by grade with the teacher and student emails of parents and guardians. So if you're looking for parent emails and student emails, you can get them from those two links, which is in custom links and reports. Sadly, I'm out of time. I tried to move fast. Continue to send me pain points. I will try to be here more regularly so I can give you some, so I can respond to some of these things that people have run into as they have.
Well, why don't we could do a follow-up, Eric, next month, and as you encourage everyone to keep sending you.
Yep. Send me more pain points, send me more issues, questions that have come up. This says, I wish I'd be able to do this. The odds are high we actually can do those things. One thing we can't do is someone mentioned that they would rather have the favorites be on this side, the right side. That's a programming issue. I don't think that's going to happen. Instead, I would use the related tools. So up here you have breadcrumbs. If you go on to various different things, sometimes you get related tools that will show up on the right side. And that would be what I would suggest.
Thank you very much, Eric. Sorry, we didn't have a lot of time, but I think
Okay,
people can see that you are willing and able to address their concerns, and
most definitely. Please
And-
keep sending them.
I can see that Eric is very responsive, and this is something that he's very wanting to do right now, is to get that feedback from you and your teachers so we can continue to move forward with having leveraging Infinite Campus in a way that's easy for teachers to use and gives us the information that we need. So thanks, Eric. I'm going to